Hello everyone and welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. And if you enjoy commentary that's straight to the point, without all the fluff, join our family. I'd personally love to have you. There was a sentencing recommendation for Tim Norman that warranted the offense he committed. However, his lawyer, in his attempt to gain freedom for Tim Norman, objected and wrote a rebuttal, stating that Tim's sentence should be that of what his co-defendant, Travell Hill, received. Here are his reasons. There was a 9-page argument given by his attorney that listed 6 points as to why Tim should not receive life in prison with the possibility of parole that is being offered by the prosecution. The first one is his education. You heard me right, which I now know plays a part in one being sentenced for a crime. If you recall, Terica's defense had mentioned that she hadn't completed the 9th grade, and now Tim's defense is concerned that the recommendation mentions that he received only a GED. His lawyer is arguing that the fact that he did receive some college needs to be reflected. Why, you may ask? Well, I guess he thinks that it adds some credence to his character, or he wants to correct the information reflected, even if it's minute. However, if I were his lawyer, I would let that point go because it shows that he knew better. Anyway, number 2, in the argument from the prosecution, it states that Terica Ellis was his, quote, romantic partner, but Tim is adamant that they were not in a romantic relationship, and the nature of their relationship was one where Tim paid Terica for her services, which wasn't dancing, if you know what I mean. Number 3, he states that in October of 2014, Tim was assisted by Wally to submit those 5 policies. That's 5 life insurance policies where he was named as the sole beneficiary. However, Tim is saying that none of the agencies can validate that he was there when Wally submitted those policies, and therefore when Tim said he had no knowledge of the other policies, the government failed to prove that he was lying. Number 4 is that there was a contradiction between what the witnesses testified and what they have on record, as well as the evidence that was presented at trial. Number 5 states that the calculation for the time that he's to receive for the orchestration of his nephew's demise is incorrect. And number 6 is that Tim accepted responsibility for his participation in the crime he committed previously. He was incarcerated and rehabilitated, but it didn't stick. So here we go again. However, that is not reflected when it comes to the sentencing being reflected. His legal team goes on to mention Juanitra Allen, who is listed as a complaining witness. Did you all know that Miss Juanitra busted out the windows of Tim's car? Well, she did. By the way, there is also a pending child support case against Tim filed by Juanitra for the son she had with Tim. Back to her vandalizing Tim's vehicle. After this fact was revealed, that she was the one that vandalized his vehicle, she dropped her complaint against him. And his legal team is saying that this is not reflected and that they want consideration for that fact. They added that Tim is currently under a physician's care for his back, knees, and feet due to arthritis, and he's taking medication, along with him being required to wear orthopedic shoes and corrective lenses. Finally, there is mention of the special condition under which he will be released, if he's released, meaning there is a possibility of him being free. And under those sentencing guidelines, it states that Tim will be subjected to random searches, and that includes anything: his papers, his cars, his computers. And his legal team is saying that this is warrantless and baseless and is a violation of his 4th Amendment right and his due process. Those were the majority of the complaint that his legal team raised when they reviewed the sentencing guidelines for Tim, which, by the way, his sentencing is scheduled for March 10th, so stay tuned. Now, with all this information, do you think Tim will receive the 32 years that Travell Anthony received when he was the one that pulled the trigger? And who do you think is more responsible for the demise of Andre Montgomery? The man that actually ended his life, or the man, his uncle, who put this plan together that ultimately led to this young man's demise? Let me know what you think in the comments section, and if you haven't already, remember to like the video and subscribe. Also, turn on your notification bell and please watch when you're notified. Lastly, thanks for your continued support as we make our way to 100K subscribers. Enjoy your day and take care.
And so I think he still, despite the verdict, has a lot of optimism that we're going to overcome this and ultimately prevail.